So I decided to do a short video for those of you who are interested in how I'm progressing in the Sam Chien form. I know there's some of you out there that are curious and like to watch those videos. So I'm going to go ahead and do the form. It's not the way that I was doing it before, and it may be easy to see, it may be hard to see. I'm actually to the point now to where I'm starting to get a little bit uncomfortable with giving out details and information of what I'm training and how I'm training it. I've been doing a lot of communication with different people and a little bit of research on my own, and through the communications that I've had with some friends of mine on this topic of the system that Master Lin was teaching for a while there. Well, I mean, he's still teaching it, he's just teaching it in Indonesia right now, but when he was teaching it in the US, it was under the name of Hakibun Eng Chun. It's what I consider Kun Tao, because I don't teach or do what he was teaching. I teach part of what he was teaching, and I train part of what he was teaching, because for me, you know, a lot of the information that I have already, I don't really want to change it. I don't need to change it. I think that there's many systems out there that offer footwork and stances and self-defense applications and you know, single hand releases, two hand releases, all these different kinds of things are just, it's not really necessary to find more information on the same subject to do in a different way when the information you have is good enough already. My Wing Chun information coming from the Moyat lineage is very good in my opinion. I don't need anybody to verify that for me. I don't need anybody to teach me a new way to do things. You know, there's different lineages out there, you know, that offer different perspectives on Wing Chun, and that's fine. You know, I respect their opinions, I respect their views, and you know, I don't I don't think that their information is wrong. It's just a different perspective. But anyway, the point is, I have a lot of that information already, and I feel I know what is necessary to teach a student and what is not really necessary to teach a student. What do you need in realistic self-defense versus what is the perfect idea of a situation. So there's realistic fighting application or self-defense application, and then there's conceptual application. I don't like dealing with the conceptual stuff. I have a lot of good information already, and you know, in my curriculum, and you know, I don't feel I need to take in extra information that's supposed to be, you know, really awesome, but I have another set over here that works just fine. You know, when I'm teaching, you know, the general public or even instructor level, I don't need to teach them stuff that is on the level of, you know, perfection. I mean, you know, studying the, you know, perfect stance and perfect weight distribution and all that kind of stuff. It's very difficult to do anyway. So maybe when I'm 50 or 60 or whatever, I might start working on that myself, but I'm not really too interested in trying to achieve that kind of thing right now. I want to learn what works, I want to do what works, and I want to teach what works to people who are interested in self-defense or fighting, which some of my students are actually, you know, eventually going to start being fighters, I'm sure. So, you know, I'd rather stick to what works on that. So, with the information I have, with this, within this Sam Chien form, it's very, very interesting when I start to train it more and more and more. I really get more and more interested. But the thing that I'm stuck on right now is I have I've been talking to some people and discussing this with them, and what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is, now I didn't think this in the past, but I've come to the conclusion that this information, certain parts of the Hakibun system, is actually secret society information. But in my opinion, it is only one or two areas. Okay, so my issue with this is, now that I'm getting better at it, my awareness is growing on all of it. What happened in the past, what's you know, stuff that I've learned, the way that Master Lin would teach. It's becoming something that, as I'm getting more and more skilled at this, it's becoming something that I am not necessarily comfortable giving out, communicating about, showing, describing, posting about a lot. So, whereas, you know, I enjoy it and I'm happy that, you know, I'm learning and all that stuff, I'm probably going to start sharing less and less, because now that I know what it is and I know kind of its importance in the whole scheme of the martial art world, I'm actually going to probably start limiting more and more what I'm actually sharing. So I'm sorry about that, but you know, when you have a treasure that is very, very special, you don't just like give it to everybody. You shouldn't really be secretive about it either, but I'm very giving. I share a lot. I love to get with people and share back and forth. But the problem is that what this information represents, what it is it's just, from what I can tell, nobody else has it besides one lineage that is in Indonesia. Now there's other systems that have something similar but very different at the same time. So what it leads me to believe is that they were, and from communicating with some people, it leads me to believe that they all were in the same place at some point in time in the past, but there's no record of where this information actually came from. So the stuff that I'm learning, or that I'm training, I should say, and I'm kind of going through the learning experience on my own, there's apparently very, very little or almost no record of where it comes from. I don't have any problem tracing back several different types of information. I mean, if you look at, you can look at just about any system and pretty much trace it back to where the source was. Oh, that's where it comes from. I have no idea where this power generation detachment information comes from at all. It goes to a certain point in research, in ability to research, and then there's no trail to follow. It's like they wipe the trail clean. So that to me is an indication of something that is secretive. There's people that are actually trying to research this, or trying to look into it and stuff, and from what they're telling me and from what I've seen, just from me looking around, it's not there. The information, the source of it is not really there. So my conclusion really right now is different from what it was before, because nobody has this information and we can't trace the origins. So it does look like this was secret society information. Now, did it come from the Shaolin Temple? I don't know. I'm not... I mean, if we can't even trace its origins within the general public, how are you going to find that out? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that this system is very unique. This, not the Hagibun system, but the system of the training the Sam Chien to get the power generation that's in there is very unique. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not out there anywhere. There are things that are close, so I'm not going to say who and where and what and all that stuff, but I'll just say that there are certain lineages of praying mantis, and there are certain lineages of Hungar that I've heard of that train something similar, but it's very different. So, like I said before, I think that these systems at some point in time were in the same place in history or traveled through the same area and somehow picked up the information to where it's extremely similar, but each system does it differently. This information I have from here, it seems like there's a lot of people interested in it. I got people communicating with me and stuff. I've got different people contacting me about it, asking me questions, and I'd love to share. But like I said, I'm not sure what to do with that information right now. I really think it's an ancient treasure, and I'm very happy that I've had the chance to learn it. So anyway, with that said, I want to kind of share kind of my experiences, a visual experience. At this point in time, I will still share the visual experience on my forum, but there may be a point in time where I just stop and I don't do that anymore. So just a heads up. Yeah, I'm getting to the point now where I'm incrementally growing and learning, and I'm realizing that the stuff that I'm learning now is not out there in the public, and there's a reason why it's not out there in the public, and I'm starting to understand that. So that's playing into that. So I don't want to, well, let's just say I want to follow that. I understand the reason for it. I understand why Lin used to do some of the things he did. I understand why some of the things were the way that they were in the past. So with that in mind, I will show, but not really explain right now. I'll just show you kind of the progressions that I've gone through a little bit. And you see, if you've seen some of my videos before on training the Sam Chien, then you'll kind of see. But if you haven't, then this should be an interesting thing. So what I used to do a while ago was I would train like this. which is tension mostly in the hands. So I will explain that because I've already explained it. So the next part, I'm just going to show you. You can train each one, excuse me, and like I could train just a whip, or I could train that version of the form to work on that power level and increasing that. And you can increase and increase and increase on whatever that power level is. So seemingly you're gaining, you know, more power, more power, more power, but you haven't gone up to the next power level. So it's not a level increase. It's a power increase on that level. So it's kind of like if you look at like think about it like video game energy bars. It's the only way I can picture it in my head. So they keep growing and growing and growing sideways, but you didn't get that level increase. So maybe, you know, maybe you're on level 1 power and, you know, you're increasing, and then you get a boost on the game, and then you're on level 2, and then, you know, you start raising those bars, and then you get a boost, and now you're on level 3, and then they're raising those bars. So that's kind of what it's like. So you can keep increasing power with those energy increases on that level, but until you get to the next level, there's no like really large jump in power. So this is what I was training for a little while there until I got to a new understanding. Okay, so you might see it, you might not. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I was working on this, but I did not have it down yet. So that's what this is. So now that I have it down, you should be able to see it. Oh, sorry. That didn't feel right, but that was it. So, I need to focus my mind. My mind is stuck on showing this, so I'm going to meditate a little bit more for the next area. And this is what I'm working on right now. So with this, if I do these things, it's not as strong as it was earlier today. And I think that's just because I'm in front of the camera right now. It's kind of frustrating, but like right there, I can turn it, I can stop, and I got it right there. So it's not something you can see. It's like, it's really weird. It's like your hand is a it's like it fills with water, and every time you move it, the water shakes and splashes to the other side and then comes back. If you don't feel that, then you don't have it. But right there, I got it. My left hand, for some reason, I can get it. My right hand, okay, I got it right there. Got it. Boom. So every stage I go to, I work on something new, and I work on it until I get it, and I try to figure out something else. So right now I have the tendon activation, and every single time that I do the bridging, it's extremely visible, which it didn't used to be, so that means my power is increasing. Okay, so I got to try this on somebody. I really got to try this on somebody. So anybody want to do some bridging? Sean, Clint, anybody? We got to have some fun, guys. Okay, got to do some bridging. It's all fun. It hurts like hell, but it's a lot of fun. So, you know, I mean, it doesn't show up right away, but you know, the thing is, if you're in a nasty fight situation and you can focus your mind to be able to do this, it could save your life. You could hit the person one time. If it's a life and death situation, take them out. If that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do. And that's what it was created for. So I honestly, in the past, I thought that that was just a bunch of nonsense. But now where I'm at, yeah, I don't think that I want to go full power with people who haven't been doing the training for a long time. I mean, even on the arms, I mean, I can do it with me, but I'm getting concerned somewhat with the power level if I was training with other people. So if I was to do bridging, I would have to tone it down a notch. I'm definitely not, at this point, going to be able to go full power the way that I used to with anybody. So it's kind of like most people are here, you know, Sifus and Masters are here, but as your power level grows, you know, at full power and it keeps going up, you can't use full power because it's not appropriate, number one. It's not polite, number two. And number three, nobody's going to want to train with you. You know, you walk around having, you know, crazy, giving people crazy bruises. You know, the instructors in Master Lynn's class, you know, they would just destroy each other's arms and they'd bruise all up and all kinds of stuff. That's great, but I was never into that. And I think that that's cool for those guys. If they're in a group and they want to do that and just beat on each other, that's fine. Cool. Okay, I'll go there and I'll train with you or whatever. You know, we can have fun with it, but I would never do that with my students. I would never do that with my friends, the other Sifus that I train with. You know, so this information is special information in the end, and I just wanted to share a video. I don't know if it's my last video or not. It may be, it may not be. But I wanted to share a little bit, and you know, just enjoy people's reactions on the video. You know, I hope you guys like it. All right, thanks.